When we're programming, we often work with a lot of data. Sometimes we want to save this data, or maybe we calculate some stuff that we want to save and use later. For that, we use something called variables. And a variable you can view a bit like a box with a label on it. Imagine that you have all your shoes and you put them inside a brown box and you put a label outside on the box that says shoes. And every time you ask the computer for your shoes, it gives you the box with all your shoes in it. That's basically how a variable works. So here's a story we print about Eric. So his mother is getting this note from school, and Eric had a plan to go to a party this weekend. And he's failing 6 subjects. Eric will need to redo 6 courses. Eric is doing well in geography. Well, that's nice, but I guess he's not going to get to go to this party. So what can we do as his slightly unethical friend to help this out? Well, we could rewrite the note that he's getting home. We could, for instance, go in and change these things, like we could change the 6 to a 2, we can change this 6 to a 2, and we could change these things. But let's say this was a really, really long letter, or maybe it was a whole book and we want to change the name of a character or something like that. So how would we go about doing that? Well, this is where variables come in handy, and concatenating strings. And I will show you how to do this. So let's start by creating a variable. And when we create a variable in Python, we use small caps. So, failed subjects, we'll call the variable, and we'll set that equals to. And when we assign variables, the equal sign is not the kind of equal sign that you use in math. It's actually an assignment operator. So a better way to see it, instead of saying failed subjects equals 6, you should see it as failed subjects gets the number 6. So we put the number 6 inside our failed subjects box. Okay, so that's how that works. And then we are going to put that inside this story. How do we do that? Well, we start by closing off this string here using a plus sign, which tells the computer to add on whatever we put after that. We remove the subjects, and then we'll copy this because we're lazy and don't want to make mistakes. Failed subjects. And then we will finish off with another plus sign and then the end of the sentence, which should have a space. And then we'll copy this part here and we'll paste that into the next one where we have 6 as well. Add a space. There we go. So now we have changed the strings to contain the variable that we're using. So let's try and run this and see what happens. So we still get the same result because we haven't changed the variable, but let's change it. And we see here that the failing 6, we should have had a space there. So let's change it to 2. That's a lot better, isn't it? Run it again, and now we see that Eric is only failing 2 subjects, but maybe it's still not good enough. So we should maybe change this further. So it turns out Eric has a brother, and his brother's name is John. Now, unfortunately for John, we're this unethical friend, so we're now going to put the blame on John. So let's take this, copy it, and replace this Eric with failed subjects. And you're saying, why failed subjects? We're going to change it to name. There we go. Do the same thing with this one. Actually, we don't need those. And then we place it here as well. There, so what we've done is replace these strings with the variables that we just created. So Eric should now have turned into John. Let's see if that works. So now it turns out that Mrs. Badger has the message that your son John is failing 2 subjects. John will need to redo 2 courses, and John is doing well in geography. So this is looking good. I think we're going to be able to get Eric to come to that party. However, we're not quite happy yet. Our evil friend isn't done yet. So now what we can do is variables can be reassigned at any time during your program. So we can reassign the value of name down here to be Eric. And what do you think is going to happen now? Let's see. Exactly. So things are looking a lot better for Eric, and it looks like he might be going to that party. So I'll see you next time.